So we have a little scene going on. It's like you're getting introduced to this character who's sort of like, um, he's kind of a villain. He's kind of cartoony, a little over the top, but we had this idea of modeling some element of the track off of Cab Calloway, who, if you don't know, is this performer from back in the day. He sang in front of a big band, and this tune actually is sort of inspired by him. And we imagined a character like Cab pulling up to a nightclub or something, getting out of his Cadillac, and then walking up, and then letting out a crazy cackle, which is actually Jules. Very villainous, but kind of cartoony and over the top, which is sort of the tone of the track. It's definitely over the top. We have some really nice, elegant piano playing by our piano player, Ian McArdle. And then we have our big, fat, menacing horn section come in. Then we have a second B section, which is leading us up to our C section, which is kind of like our chorus. Once again, we bring back the slide guitar melodies. A cool little element that I snuck in there was this recording of birds that I recorded at Malibu Creek State Park a while ago. I wanted to sneak those in there because it's sort of like a scene change. The parts leading up to this are like very urban in nature, and I just wanted to put this sound effect in there to sort of give it like a subliminal lift and make it feel a little more like natural and bright. And actually, you can hardly hear it. It's again, I think it's sort of subliminal, but I also have this like it's an urban street scene kind of going through the rest of the track, but like really low. Just some kind of like street rustling and car sounds and that sort of thing. It's all just part of the idea that we want these tunes to be more than just songs. They're really worlds that incorporate all sorts of sound. So we have the breakdown part here. So we sort of imagine this as like as if you were Mario, and like this is like in Super Mario 64, before you go fight the final Bowser, you have to like climb up the stairs, and this is kind of like that moment, like we're entering the den of the beast essentially. So the main thing that you hear is this really cool guitar pad that Jules made by layering on his looper a bunch of different guitar sounds. Just a really cool texture with all sorts of motion. We have, let's see. Oh yeah, and I sort of created this like haze that gets panned around from a coffee maker that I recorded. It's just this kind of dark, spooky haze. And then we also have this scary piano part here that I really like. This sort of like piano falling down the stairs thing that happens. And of course, we have allow me to introduce myself.
Allow me to introduce myself.
So that's Jules. Spoiler. And we just manipulated his voice with a plugin called Little Alter Boy by Soundtoys to just create this kind of menacing, villainous character. So, of course, now he is going to introduce himself. Okay, so that's our climax there. Basically, it's just a really wild slide guitar solo. Jules is a great slide guitar player. He's doing it like no one else right now, and I think this is just it's a really good example of the way he plays, and it's something that we're pretty excited about. Here we have these risers that sort of lead us to the end. This was a sound that Jules made with his guitar pedals. We were trying to figure out how to do things like risers and sort of like conventional production and EDM sounds, but using acoustic instruments and also electric guitars, obviously. So we have a lot of things that will remind you of, risers or stuff that you've heard in other genres of music, but that we made all with the band. So at the last part, Jules comes in and supplements the melodies with some vocals. Do those on their own. So again, those just sort of like filter in. We have a low pass filter that we're opening up to just bring things in. That was a technique that we used a lot to just introduce elements, because it's just a cool way to sort of, create some motion and just sort of like things sort of materialize that way. So we make a lot of use out of filters. So let's see, let's just jump to the outro here. So really rocking. Probably, one of my favorite elements of the track is this crazy rock and roll scream that Jules did. That sounds like this. Just an appropriate way to end this track. So anyways, I hope that was informative and maybe inspirational. I hope it gave you a look at the way Jules and I are trying to experiment with bringing together different types of musical elements, the way we're hoping to design sounds a little differently and hopefully come up with something that's really fun and refreshing for people to listen to. We hope you dig the record. Go check it out. Peace.